So what have we done lately? At the risk of boring you, here's a list. We now have environmental implications on every council report, fair trade borough status, the world record for the longest walking bus, with our very own Deborah the Zebra, of course, biodiversity action plans, environmental community grants, home composter giveaways, environmental groups sitting at the strategic partner level, a Green Festival fortnight every year, a Christmas park and ride service that attracts over 50,000 people, strategies on climate change, energy and green spaces, and eco-footprinting workshops, to name but a few. We all need to take environmental issues seriously. We need to do our bit individually, as councillors and as a controlling council group. We've just signed up to the 10-10 campaign to cut carbon emissions by 10% by 2010. But to do all that, money, partners and our staff are key. Here's Derek Osborne, leader of Kingston Council, to tell you how we manage that.
So, we're the smallest London borough, and that gives us financial challenges of our own. We get just a third of the grant per head of the new Tory flagship Hammersmith and Fulham. Kingston raises nearly 3/4 of its budget through council tax, when in Britain it is just about a half. We don't let that affect our ambition to serve our residents and provide them with the best services we can, especially in those areas of real deprivation. Now, these days, we can achieve far more working with others: the business community, the voluntary sector, the police, the primary care trust and other boroughs across a range of issues, from youth crime to adult social care to waste management. Partners are the key to our success. And let me give you just one example. In 2004, we worked with local businesses and delivered the first business improvement district in Britain. The results achieved by the Kingston First Partnership speak for themselves. Sales up nearly 40%, violent crime down nearly 40%, graffiti gone within 24 hours, business cardboard recycled, and a range of nighttime initiatives to make our streets clean and safe and get our 4,500 nightclubbers home. And this summer, we asked for a mandate for Kingston First to continue for another 5 years. And despite the credit crunch, an even larger majority of businesses voted yes. Now, these days, everyone goes on about binge drinking. But if we really want to reclaim the streets from young drinkers, the best way is to put other activities into town centres at night. We didn't just build a theatre because we're a bunch of lovies. Well, maybe I am. But let's for a moment just put aside the thousands of free tickets for school children at the Rose Theatre. Let's put aside just for a moment Kingston's new place on London cultural map and look at the simple economics. A theatre this size can generate £11 million a year for the local economy. Despite the recession, when shops and restaurants are closing, we have seen new ones open, including Jamie Oliver's just over the road from the theatre. So let's look at one example of what we have achieved for the borough's children. When it came to rebuilding a school, we delivered the only one of 100 Pathfinder schools in the country, the only one to be built on time and on budget. Chessington Community College is an amazing centre of learning for young people aged 11 to 18 with the most modern equipment. And we have built it at every stage with the environment at its heart, from the building materials themselves to the biomass boiler, the rainwater harvester, the solar-powered technology and the temperature-operated vents. And this is just one of the ways we became the first council in the country to be graded outstanding for education and children's services. At the other end of the age scale, we built an internationally recognised home for people with dementia, in which elderly people have memory areas to feel and smell those things that were familiar from their youth, and sensory rooms that provide sound and light stimulus when this is all that those people can perceive. And you'll see more of this in the video in a moment. So how do we, with our limited budget, stay cutting edge and to continue to provide services that matter to people? How do we, with our budget, continue to provide high-quality services to that elderly woman who has just lost her life partner of 60 years, or the young child pushed out at home at 7 in the morning and not allowed in till 10 at night, We do that by our partnership work with our staff to find even better ways to provide services. But I'll let our staff tell you about that.
Council, I think, for a long time has sort of, how can I say, been a dinosaur, and now it's got to move into the future.
So I'd like to have more say rather than just being told when the decision's made. You know, I'd like somebody to approach me and say, how do you think what you do would benefit?
I work in libraries, so I know pretty much what the directors do. The direction I think is the key. Everyone pushing the same way.
We were talking about responsibility, knowing who to go to, being able to spread the help more effectively, I think.
And what we know with One Council is we'll be doing lots of things differently. And the way we work and the way we communicate with each other is absolutely crucially important as part of that. The focus of this project is to make sure that there's more consistency across the One Council programme to support our managers. So essentially, leadership is crucial to moving this forward, and we've got arrangements in place to make sure that you can inform what the leadership should be like for the future.
Hello, good morning, Environmental Services, Halima speaking. How can I help you?
Who would have thought, even this time last year, that we'd be facing the deepest recession for 80 years? So there's no money. It's not going to get any better. But we still need to provide comfort for that old woman and hope for that younger child. And that actually is what One Council is all about. It is simple as that. How do we, with that landscape around us, carry on doing what we need to do? How do we make this still a safe place to be, a good place to live, clean environment, buoyant economy, and still help that woman and that child? We have to change the way we do things in order to do the things that we do well and continue to do that. It's about changing the way we do things, it's about the way we change and use technology, it's about how we relate to our customers, which is very different from what used to be called in the training courses the chief executive approach, which is whenever you've got change, you get somebody in to draw a new chart. It's not about that this time.
Many of us here, a lot of us here, are already working as One Council, but there are some who are still working in silos. And my question is, what are we going to do if people just don't want to join in?
It's very difficult to stay in a silo if the silos are gone. And I think that's the simple answer. Take away the silos, people won't work in them.
What we have now is a fantastic building for people to both work in and live in. And people with dementia living in Kingston know that their needs will be met both now and in the future. Now, when I look around, I feel such a sense of pride. My advice to anyone in that same situation and position that I was in, just grab the opportunity, live with the fears, and believe me, at the end of it, you will feel fantastic.